Sentence Semantics by Mr. Roland Pinanelli. Hello students, I am Roland Pinanelli and I will be your teacher. And this time our topic is sentence semantics. Question: what is sentence semantic? Or what is semantic? It is relating to meaning in language or logic. Under sentence semantics, we have proposition, thematic roles, and predications. Let us first discuss what proposition is. Our analysis of sentence semantics begins with the concept of the proposition, the semantic content of a clause, minus any particular syntactic structure, as well as its intended communicative force. For example, the proposition may be expressed in the following forms, among others. Did Harriet call the doctor? Will Harriet call the doctor? Harriet called the doctor. For Harriet to call the doctor. Harriet's calling the doctor. It was Harriet who called the doctor. It was the doctor whom Harriet called. The one who called the doctor was Harriet. Thus, the proposition may occur in different sentence types, in non-finite as well as finite form, and in utterances with different focuses. Note that the proposition itself crucially lacks tense, aspect, modality, and agreement marking. So we have here an example, finite and non-finite verbs. For finite verbs, we have a few examples here, but we will just be reading two. Number one, they got home very late last night. Second, but before that, the first example is an act of a verb or act as a verb. Second is act as the main verb of a clause. I live in Germany. Okay, so in non-finite verbs, sailing is not my favorite. Sailing is my favorite sport. It does not act as a verb. Second example, the sleeping cat is brown. Act as nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. A preposition is divided into predicate and its arguments. An argument is any of the various elements of the sentence that are set in relation to one another by the predicate. Arguments are typically noun phrases. The predicate is the operation carried out on argument or arguments. It places the arguments in relation to one another. Predicates are typically verbs, including accompanying prepositions and particles, prepositions and adjectives. Predicates differ in respect to valency, the number of arguments that could occur with a predicate. There are different types of valences: 0, 1, 2, and 3 place predicates. These, along with the less common 4 place predicate, are exemplified in Table 10.1. Note the different verb types occurring in each structure. Number 1. Zero place predicates consist of a class of impersonal constructions called whether expressions in which the subject is a dummy it. Second, one place predicates consist of what are traditionally known as intransitive verbs, such as burn, choke. Intransitive phrasal verbs, fly away, run out, and some copula plus subject complement. Be Irish, be Irish, be depressed, be a dancer, become a lawyer. Third, two place predicates consist of transitive verbs break, send, surprise, right, left. Transitive phrasal verbs write down, press flat. Prepositional verbs belong to, look and to, start at, as well as adjectival structures with be similar to, be behind, be upset with. Elliptical structures such as the following would be considered. Second place. Hint. The identifying statement containing a definite article. Violet is the lead ballerina is a second place predicate. And the descriptive statement containing an indefinite article. Violet is a dancer is first place. In the first case, two entities. Violet, lead ballerina, are being equated, while in the second case, one entity, Violet, is said to belong to an abstract class, which is dancers. Number 4, three place predicates include the transitive, complex transitive. Okay, three place predicates include the transitive or give, and complex transitive, put, donate, crawl, and this deep pray. Positional verbs extend. The following table shows the 0 until 4 place predicates. It is funny, it is snowing, it is hot, it felt chilly. The predicate and arguments of a prepositions may be represented in 3 diagrams as follows. First, here we have first place, the predicate burn, the argument the house. Second place, the predicate here is break, the argument Mary, the second argument the glasses. The third place, the predicate is donate to. The first argument, we. Second argument, the clothes. The third argument, charity. Note that arguments include only the nuclear elements of sentences, not adverbial elements. Thus, in the sentence, Patsy is knitting a sweater in the living room. In the living room is not an argument because knit is a transitive verb, while in the sentence, Patsy put the sweater in the living room. In the living room is an argument because put is a complex transitive verb. The second sentence is a single, third place predicate. So we have here an analysis of the first sentence is given in the self-testing exercise. Now that the propositions have been analyzed into the predicate in arguments, we can examine how these parts are related semantically. So we are done with the first topic, which is proposition. Let's talk about thematic roles. The concept of thematic roles is a means of accounting for the functions of arguments in respect to predicate. Thematic roles are the grammatically relevant semantic relations between predicates and arguments. This approach was first proposed by Charles Fillmore, 1968 until 1977, and was originally known as case grammar. To define the roles of arguments, Fillmore borrows the notion of case used in the analysis of grammatical categories, but applies it in a slightly different way. Number one, traditionally, case is understood as a formal marking on nouns, typically expressed by inflection, with a number of these formal markers of case distinguished: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and so on. But the meaning of a case ending, the function of the noun carrying a particular case inflection may be complex. This is perhaps most obvious with a genitive, which can express possessive, subjective, objective, descriptive, partitive, or adverbial meaning, as we discussed in chapter 5. The nominative case, which denotes the grammatical function of subject of the sentence, would seem to be fairly unified in meaning, but even it expresses a variety of concepts, including agent, cause, recipient, object, or instrument of an action. Traditionally, it is also unclear whether the notion of case should be restricted to case inflections, what is known as morphological case, which are used almost exclusively in a synthetic language. One or should embrace other formal means to express the same grammatical functions, namely periphrasis and word order, which are primary means for the expression of case in an analytic language such as English. Another advantage of case grammar is that it is able to recognize a relationship among sentences such as the following. The chef roasted the meat over the fire. The fire roasted the meat. The meat roasted over the fire. Despite the fact that the termination of thematic roles is described by one scholar as intuitionism run wild, we may consider the following as a list of some of the possible thematic roles served by arguments in a sentence too. Number one, agent, the animate initiator, causer, doer, or instigator of an action who acts by will or volition, takes responsibility for the action, and is its direct cause. Force. Number two, force, the inanimate cause of an action, which does not act by will or volition. Number three, instrument, the means by which an event is caused, or the tool, generally inanimate, used to carry out an action. An instrument does not act but is acted upon. Fourth, experiencer, the animate being affected by inwardly or by the animate being affected inwardly by a state or action. Source, the place from which or person from whom an action emanates. Number seven, go, the place to which or person to whom an action is directed, including indirect objects and directional adverbs. Next is path. The path taken in moving from one place to another in the course of action. Number 8, location. The place at, in which, or the time at which an action occurs. 9, possessor. The possessor of a thing, really a special kind of locative, since the thing and the possessor must coincide. There are two kinds of possession, depending on whether the possessor and the thing possessed are inherently connected, such as Judas' head, or inalienable possession, or not, such as Judy's car, which is alienable possession. Number 10, benefactive, the person or thing for which an action is performed, or the person who derives something from action of another. Factative, the object resulting from an action or state, having no prior existence but coming about by virtue of the action or state. Patient, the person or thing affected by an action or the entity undergoing a change. 13. Theme, the person or thing which undergoes an action or that which is transferred or moved by an event but otherwise unchanged. Neutral, the person or thing which is not changed or even acted upon, but simply present at an action. Number 15, range. The specification or limitation of an action. And 16, role. A person playing a role or part in an action or state. We are done discussing about thematic roles. Third is predications. Now that we have examined the roles that noun phrases serve in a sentence, we can look at the way that the verbal predicates set the noun phrases in relation to one another. This may be called predication analysis. It is a way of analyzing the relational features, verbs, different views of a situation, or different aspects such as encoactive, continuative, aggressive, as well as those belonging to a number of different semantic classes such as stative, agentive, causative. We will look at a number of different types of predicates: descriptive predicates, cognitive predicates, and locative or possessive predicates are mentioned briefly in Chapter 6. It is useful in analyzing predicates expressing. We have here descriptive predicates. The first type of predicate that we will look at is the descriptive predicate, which serves to qualify or identify the subject. Stative and incoactive. Consider the following sets of sentences. For stative, number one, we have the pages are yellow. The clothes are dry. The water is cool. The children are quiet. You see the difference, right? Okay. For incoactive, we have number two. The pages yellow. The clothes dry. The water cold. The children quieted. Third, the pages got turned became yellow. The pages came to be yellow. The clothes got turned became dry. The clothes came to be dry. The water got turned became cool. The water came to be cool. The children got turned became quiet. The children came to be quiet. All of these are one-place predicates. The predicates in are stative, denoting an unchanging condition of yellowness, dryness, coolness, quietness. In the case of inanimates, either or e.g. pages, water, clothes, the subject is a neutral role. In the case of animates, the subject is an experiencer role. Okay? States are assumed to be basic, not further analyzable. Thus, the predicates in the sentence in number one are analyzed with the stative feature be, as in B, A, E. I.e., i.e., be yellow, be dry, be cool, or be quiet. In contrast, the predicates in number 2 and 3 are incoactive, denoting a change in state from not yellow to yellow, wet to dry, not cool to cool, not quiet to quiet, or more precisely, the beginning of a new state. Again, this is a first place predicate with a patient or experiencer subject role. Each set of sentences in number 2 and number 3 consists of structurally different but semantically synonymous sentences. They would have the same propositional analysis, with only the surface lexical items differing. The predicates in the sentences. So that's the end of our topic, my dear students. That's all of that's solely focused on sentence semantics. You you will be learning more when we will be discussing another topic. Okay, so as of now, this is the end of our topic. Great day.